Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of the MCR. Mac and me, my name's TJ. And in this segment, we're going to kind of reflect on some incidents, situations, scenarios involving illegal aliens and the way some of these things have played itself out. And I'm going to start with probably one of the more popular ones here. There was a group of 5 illegal aliens in the city of New York, and if I understand this correctly, they took exception to 2 police officers, and I don't know if these police officers were questioning them or what, but they took exception to these 2 police officers, and the 5 of them jumped these 2 New York police officers. I guess the cops got a pretty good beat down. One of these illegal aliens stole one of the police officers' cell phone, and I think that may have led to finding them. But it does appear they were arrested. They appeared before court, and they were released without bond. And as they're exiting the court...
I'm sorry, did you say where this was?
New York City.
Okay, all right. Well, that explains the no bond then.
They were released without bond. And and at least 2 of them did this. The one was pretty bold and audacious. But as they were exiting the courtroom, the one illegal alien is doing this. And I have some thoughts, but I'll give you a chance to chime in here, Mac, before I say anything else.
Well, it makes me sick even hearing this. You know, he might be doing this later because maybe he needs his damn fingers cut off before getting dropped off out of a plane to wherever the hell he came from.
As most everyone is aware, I listen to Dan Bongino a lot, and Dan Bongino had a pretty good idea. He said every Republican politician needs to take the photo of the illegal alien doing this and making it a part of their political ad platform.
Well, not you know what? He didn't just do that to the cop. He did it to you and me and every other law-abiding citizen, including immigrants.
I'm not so sure he was doing it to the cops. I think he was doing it to us.
That's my thought exactly.
Yeah, yes, the news reporter may have, for lack of a better word, the news reporter may have been harassing him as he exited, but he knew darn well that in doing this, and I'm going to keep doing this too, okay? In doing that, that was going to go nationwide.
Yeah.
And you know what? I hope, Democrats ought to be proud of themselves, And all
they care about is winning and keeping power and oppressing other people, and this is the means by which they plan to do it.
Yeah, and I think Dan Bongino's onto something. I actually wondered, is there any way I could get a poster size of that and put it on the back of my car saying "Keep voting Democrat" or something?
Yeah.
I mean, I just
that might fly where I live, but I don't know if it'll fly where you live.
Yeah, I know. I don't need my car getting vandalized. I've referenced that whole situation from me before, but anyways, I was just compelled to make my thoughts known on this particular incident. But we got a couple other situations here involving illegals as we move on.
Oh, let me jump ahead of you just for 1 second. I'd like to talk about a particular illegal who, and I'm calling her an illegal because she lied on her application for citizenship to become a naturalized citizen in this country, and that's Ilhan Omar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She lied. She deceived. These are official government documents, and she falsified them. And then she finally got to it and exposed herself by saying she's here to represent the interests of Somalia inside the United States.
And, she married her brother to get him into the country, lest we leave that out of the scenario. Okay.
And here's the thing about, you mentioned Democrats, and they don't care.
No, they don't. They don't. I'm glad you threw that into the mix because I, that's a good one. But as we move on here, I don't know of the Georgia politician. He was referred to as a senator, so he might have been a state senator. Okay. But I guess he got. Oh, here's what happened: a whistleblower dropped the dime to him. So whatever person, because not all employees are on board with this nonsense. Okay. Right. So this politician, a whistleblower drops a dime and says, "Hey, you need to go to this airport. They are running a private lounge for illegal aliens. Basically, when they come into the airport, they don't want them seen. They don't want them, so what they do is they quickly whisk them into this private lounge, and then from this private lounge, they send them out wherever they're going, wherever they want to go, I guess. I don't know, but the gist of it is the whole secrecy in what they're doing, and of course, when this politician, he was using his cell phone to get, we'll say amateur video, and I guess they quick shut the door and everything else. They didn't want him videotaping whatever was going on the other side of that door, And
these airports are federal, so they're complicit as well.
Yeah, and when I heard about that story, because Mac, just a couple weeks ago, you were on vacation, and I'm guessing you had to show your ID every time you turned around.
To get back in the United States, where I've lived my entire life, I had to show proof of who I am to get into my own country.
Yeah,
had to show proof of who I am to get on an airplane, on the ship I cruised on, so on and so forth.
A little side note here, and I have heard this from like a Border Patrol customs officer, but when you are crossing international borders, and this includes ours, as you coming or going, you basically have no rights. But here's the thing. That makes the treatment of these illegals all that more offensive to me personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
The citizens of this country are held to a higher standard, and that's the point I'm belaboring here. We, the citizens, are being held to a higher standard than these illegals, and they're illegals because they're illegally entering our country, and the federal government is giving them a pass.
With the assistance and the encouragement of the Biden administration. Let's just say that.
Yeah. And well, I'm compelled to reference the situation down in Texas, Eagle Pass. Boy, I think it's just great that Texas has not buckled. The Biden regime won that Supreme Court case, okay? And Texas said, so what? They said, the court says this, but we're really doing that.
Well, I listened to that nitwit AOC tell states that they should ignore the Supreme Court. So I guess if it's good for one, I guess it's good for another.
Yeah, and I guess the lieutenant governor made an appearance down there on the border with the National Guardsmen, just so that the Texas National Guard were fully aware that the state of Texas had their back on this, and I can't remember if it was the Attorney General Ken Paxton or the Lieutenant Governor. I forget the Lieutenant Governor's name. But one of them made the comment, that if the feds cut the razor wire, they're replacing it with fresh razor wire, as if they're digging in. They're digging in, and I'm compelled to throw into this mix, the truckers convoy, though it wasn't as successful as initially hoped. They were hoping for like 700,000 truckers, and it appears that and I don't know. They hit nowhere near their goal. I don't know the exact count. I Googled it, and all I read was they didn't get as much involvement as they were hoping.
Well, from Google, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, yeah. It sounds like they may have gotten a couple 100,000, but yeah, they fell way short of their target number as far as how many truckers they're hoping to have part of this convoy. But you know what? They had their protest at Eagle Pass nonetheless, and I think Sarah Palin may have made an appearance there also. I read a news report where she was one of the guest speakers. So hats off to Texas. Keep on keeping on, I would say. The last situation that I'd like to throw into the mix here in all of this, and it involves illegals, Lawrence Jones, and I think it's the same Lawrence Jones from Fox News. He's somewhat conservative, but he has gone nationwide, basically kind of doing news reports on the effects of illegal aliens in all these sanctuary cities. Well, in Chicago, Lawrence Jones is interviewing an older black woman, and she's upset. She's ticked, and the reason why she was ticked was, most cities, heck, and here where I live, we got one a half mile away. Like a local city recreational center. Kind of intended to give kids a place to hang out, play games, and stay out of trouble. Okay, that to me, that's what the purpose of these recreational centers are all about. Well, they shut this neighborhood recreational center down in her area, her neighborhood, and why? Because they needed to house illegal aliens. And yeah, she was pretty upset about that.
I believe it's in New York. They have shut down schools and replaced them with Zoom calls so they could do the same for the same purpose, house these people.
Yep, yeah. So, and
misappropriation of funds is what it is.
I suppose if I wanted to be a pure and cynical pragmatist, I could say, hey, if this helps us win the election, great, but it's not exactly.
It's hurting people.
It's a messed up situation, is what it is. But and if there is a positive spin to this, could this be what wakes people up?
I believe it was George Washington who said, "People must suffer. Sometimes people must suffer greatly before they learn."
Yeah. And one other thing, I just slightly off topic, I wanted to add into this. MSNBC did a little type of interview, and I can't remember what city this was in, but MSNBC they went into a black barber shop and got a rude awakening when the majority of patrons and who all was in there made it known that they were probably going to vote for Trump. And in saying this, one person said, "Hey, we're struggling more now than we were under Trump." This goes back to, and I mentioned this a few segments ago. There's a town hall in Chicago where one resident got up to speak and said that he needed Trump back in office to fix this shit. So
well put.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's what he said.
Yeah, that's well put. I bravo.
So I can only hope that a lot of this is opening people's eyes. If this doesn't open people's eyes, then we really do need to prepare, and make of that whatever you
Well,
choose.
we've had people quartered in our homes in our country's history before, so maybe we need that again.
But anyways, I just kind of wanted to run down all these different situations and whatnot, and going back to the illegals beating up the cops, and if I did that where I lived, I don't even know if I'd be getting out.
No, there's no question.
I mean,
you'd certainly have a bond.
And you know what? If I did get out, I'd probably be in the hospital.
I was thinking as you were telling that story about 40 years ago, those guys wouldn't look the same going in as they did coming out.
Yeah. Like I've said already, I just hope this really opens people's eyes to just what the heck is going on, and people come to their senses. And that's all I got. We can call this a wrap unless you have anything else to add.
I'm sure we could go on forever about this, but I think we made our point.
But okay, well, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for giving us your time and support, and we'll catch you in the next rant, because I guarantee you it'll be one. And as we always say here at the MCR, Michigan Conservative Roundtable, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.